Awesome. How's everyone doing? Okay. How's everyone doing? Lovely, lovely. Well, hey, last time I introduced university stage and I said that the crowd was thin. Now I'm introducing the early stage and it's filled up, right? So again, tell everyone to come to the Launchpad stage and hear these amazing pitches. We have 100 startups that have presented from around the world, from Singapore to the Dominican Republic. And they are now pitching for the top 5 slots. These are our top 25 companies that are coming to stage today and presenting to you all and judges. Feel free to engage with them. If there's something that they said in their presentation that you want to learn more about, come find them after their presentation. This is really what this is all about here at eMerge. So with that, I'm going to kick off our early stage pitches, and I'm going to introduce Fluix.
Hello, I'm Abhi Sastry, the founder of Fluix, where we save data centers and critical infrastructure 35% on their energy costs by automating cooling with the power of AI. You see, the problem is that with the ever-growing demand of the internet, that's every Zoom call made, email sent, and video watched, data centers are projected to consume 20% of the world's power consumption by 2040, almost half of which will be used to cool down servers alone. Previously, I had a business building and selling servers to data centers. Through this business, I got to visit 20+ data centers and found out that they're frustrated with the high costs, lack of insights, and control over their cooling. So at Fluix, we built Amy, our autonomous AI that can optimize data center cooling in real time, saving energy costs. Amy can sense temperature, IT load, and other critical building data to save data centers up to 35% on their energy spend. But she can do much more. She can optimize electrical and water usage for buildings all over the planet. And it worked. Training on a public data set, Amy saved NTU's data center $50,000 in energy costs. That's a 35% reduction in their energy spend. Oak Ridge National Laboratory, which hosts the fastest supercomputer in the world, heard about us and decided to invest $120,000 through Techstars. Within months of launching in January, we signed 4 paid pilots with data centers, contributing to $173,000 in revenue. These pilots are performance-based, meaning that we get 50% of energy savings, but then we will transition to a SaaS model. In fact, our first pilot has already agreed to the SaaS model. While competitive AI solutions can save 5 to 10% by only optimizing HVAC, we have written proprietary code to optimize IT and HVAC, leading to 35% in efficiency, blowing the competition out of the water. We're focused on the 2,500 smaller colocation data centers in the United States. This is a $10 billion market, and dealing with these customers are faster sales cycles and easier to reach decision makers. In fact, the first 3 pilots were made off of cold calls. But we understand that there's a much bigger vision. What if Amy can optimize all the critical infrastructure in the world? Data centers, manufacturers, greenhouses, hospitals. Have you ever asked yourself, why are the sprinklers on when it's raining outside? It's not fantasy. We signed our first manufacturing clean room customer on Wednesday. This is our business model. Data centers operate by a software sold per monthly cost per cabinet. At Fluix, we're going to charge $30 per month per cabinet. And with this, out of the 2,500 data centers, there's about 1,000 that we can charge $1 million per annual contract each. This scales extremely quickly. At Fluix, just a little background about our team. I was previously a DoD aerospace engineer, and our team has over 100 years of experience in infrastructure automation and AI. At Fluix, we're raising $750,000 to get to 30 clients by Q1 of 2024 and reach $4 million in revenue. We've already done close to $200,000 in revenue in the last 3 months. We are Fluix, and we save data centers and critical infrastructure on their energy costs by automating cooling with the power of AI. Come see us at booth SS31. Thank you so much.
Great presentation, Abhi. Question over here, right in the middle.
Oh,
So the question is, can you talk about your relationship with AC manufacturers and HVAC service providers? Have you been able to create any partnerships? And what role do they play in your sales process?
100%. So AC manufacturers like Schneider, Siemens, all of those companies are integral in what we do. Every data center that we visited in the last 18 months, we visited those data centers, worked with the manufacturers and even AC systems, opened the back panel, read the serial number, and parsed through their operational manual. This is normal for us to write code to communicate and control these systems. It's in their benefit for us to offer them insights. What if Amy can know when a compressor is going out in a chiller or a belt is about to go out? We can do that, send them automated requests to let them know that this needs to be serviced. So it's mutually beneficial for that relationship. We have a proprietary database of over 1,700 HVAC units. We know how to write code and control them. So Amy controls the AC temperatures and the airflow of the fans autonomously, and we wrote that code to do so.
Great presentation, appreciate it. Love the enthusiasm as well. Talk to me a little bit about implementation. So you just started to allude to it in terms of writing new code. Is it bespoke where you have to write code for every customer, or is it like what is off the shelf? Do you have any hardware components? Implementation, how does that go?
We are no hardware. Because of regulatory and compliance, data centers already have sensors that we plug into. This is very old code like SNMP and Modbus. Our AI runs on premises. So what we have to do for implementation, the data centers are already grabbing data on total utilization, temperature and humidity, airflow. We write code to communicate back and forth. In the first couple of pilots, we had to communicate to a 2002 Liebert unit or a 2013 Schneider unit. They're a little bit different. But after going through 1,700, we have code that can communicate to any HVAC unit because they're very similar. So we've started to automate that process. It took a long time, but that's our moat. It'll be difficult for 3 guys from Carnegie Mellon to do what we did because we visited every data center, opened up back panels, and built that proprietary moat and the relationship with data centers.
So just adding to that, given that you've done that with the 1,700, how quickly is it to sign a customer and turn them on? I know you have 4 or 5.
So right now, it takes 6 to 8 weeks to grab data from a data center. That's actually why we're raising. The faster I can take a data center customer from saying yes to saving them money, the better. The stickier and the more money we make. So I need to get that down to 4 weeks. That's why we're raising $750K.
Thank you for the presentation. Just wanted to follow up. You said on the pricing model, you started first taking 50% of the energy savings. You're thinking about pivoting that into SaaS. Someone has already agreed to do that. Just curious, how are customers reacting to this pricing change? Because one is sort of transactional revenue, one is fixed, and how do they measure ROI, and how does that impact pricing over time? Sorry, lots of questions.
No worries. Great question. This slide took a lot of conversation with the owners of the data centers that we're already piloting with. What are they comfortable with? What have they seen? Monitoring solutions to data centers are sold in between $12 to $20 per month per cabinet. Amy doesn't just do monitoring. We control the AC systems. That's why we're a premium price point. If we can control AC systems, if we charge them $180,000 a year, we need to save them $450,000. So the relationship where we pilot is to get rid of that skepticism, build trust, and allow the AI to learn. The first month and the 4th month is different. So that's where we build that trust. We save them money, and then we transition because piloting is a lighter version of the AI. We only change temperature. The full version of the AI is we integrate other systems, water, electrical. So we had to speak to customers to get down to this pricing strategy, and they've agreed to it.
And sorry, just quickly, how long do the pilots last, and when do you expect the shift to occur?
So 3 to 6 months. The first pilot has just transitioned to that shift, so we're integrating into the pricing of the SaaS in 2 weeks.
And 1-year deals?
1-year deals, annual contracts. That's correct. Thank you, everybody.
Hey guys, my name is Evan Kalin. I'm the founder of Grilla. Grilla is a skill-based tournament platform that allows for peer versus peer wagering. So I started my career, I spent 10 years working in traditional sports. I consulted for leagues like the NFL and the NBA. And then in 2017, a lot of my customers started to ask about gaming and esports. And I quickly realized there was about to be a generational shift in the way that sports are played and entertainment is consumed. So I got into esports in 2019, and I quickly realized the only people that are able to make money playing video games are the professionals. And I thought to myself, what about the hundreds of millions of people that play video games with friends as parts of different communities of all skill levels? See, I used to play poker in college, and the best part about playing poker is you could get your group of buddies together, you could put $20 in a shoebox, and whoever's the best at the end of the night could win $200. But when you have online competitions with hundreds of people dispersed around the country, it's really challenging logistically. So we went out to create a platform where essentially anyone could create their own competitions. We put the regulatory and compliance guardrails in place so they could use real money features, such as the ability to put in entry fees, pay out prize pools, wager against their opponents. We offer hundreds of different skill-based games. And as I mentioned, you could wager, you could stake someone's entry fee, you could pay out prize pools very easily. So on the surface, this seems like such an easy idea to comprehend, right? There's 3 billion gamers out there. It's built into the fabric of playing skill-based games that you'd want to wager against your opponent, right? Think about being out on a golf course. I mentioned poker. There's a number of different skill-based games out there that wagering is built into that fabric. But what's really challenging about this is that skill-based gaming is regulated on a state-by-state basis. So the skill-based gaming laws in Florida are different than California, New York, Tennessee. So we had to hard code every single real money feature on our platform to facilitate those laws. So you could be playing in a tournament on our platform in New York, California, Florida, and everybody gets a different experience based on where their IP is coming from. There was also an arduous compliance process we had to get approved by Visa, MasterCard, and PayPal. So we did all that. We added these real money features into the experience, and we made it really easy to scale this platform so we could white label it for other skill-based genres. Because when we were building this, what we realized was our early customers were saying, hey, this is great for my Call of Duty tournament or my Madden tournament, but I also play chess or backgammon or golf. So we realized we're actually solving for a much bigger problem. As I mentioned, we're starting with competitive video games. We launched in January, and we have 42,000 registered users on the platform. We have a really unique customer acquisition strategy where we'll identify people that are organizing competitions for an existing community, and we'll say, hey, we'd like to partner with you. We have a desired acquisition cost, and it could be the University of Miami Gaming Club president with 2,500 members, and through that single point of acquisition, we could get their 2,500 members playing on our platform. We've had over 2,200 competitions organized on the platform. We consider ourselves a stadium. We allow anybody to organize their own competitions for their own community. So as far as the market opportunity goes, I mentioned we're starting with video games. Video game competitions is massive, but there's also a variety of other different skill-based games that we're going to go after once we conquer video games. As it relates to the dollars flowing through these competitions, there's millions of competitions being played every year. If you think about all the money that's being transacted under the table, on golf courses, during chess matches, during video games, that's not spoken for right now, we're going to bring that above the table and create a multi-billion-dollar opportunity out of this. Our business model is very similar to a poker room. If you've ever been to a poker room where people are organizing their competitions, we take a 10% fee when someone uses one of our real money wagering features, and we take 3% off of all prize pools to make it really easy to facilitate these competitions. We're also looking at advertising and sponsorship opportunities where Red Bull and the likes of Coca-Cola and Delta Airlines could come in and create branded competitions and engage with our community. We're looking at white label opportunities. We've worked with professional sports teams like the Dallas Mavs and the Tampa Bay Lightning to offer tournaments for their users, for our users to engage with people while their brand isn't front and center in the off season. As far as our competition goes, there's tournament software out there. There's a lot of places where you could organize your own competitions. And on the other side, there's peer versus peer wagering platforms out there. What we're doing is we're putting it all together. So you could create competitions with thousands of people, and you could still use those real money features like the ability to wager against your opponent, the ability to stake someone's entry fees so they could play in a high stakes tournament, the ability to easily pay out prize pools. Don't know what happened to the formatting, but I mentioned a little bit about myself. I spent a long time in the sports industry before getting into gaming. I have a really talented team of engineers that's building the product. Our anchor investor is Tusk Venture Partners out of New York, who's helping us with a lot of the regulatory components of this. And that's Skrilla. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Great presentation. So you mentioned you have 42,000 users already. How many of them are active users, and how do you define active users? How many times per week or per month do they come to the platform?
Great question, thanks. So we're starting to kind of figure out what our first couple cohorts are doing, how they're behaving with the site, how often they're coming back to play. Our monthly active users in March was 12,000. So what we're doing is trying to make sure that we have a supply to justify what the demand is for different games and what their playing behaviors are. So if we could get tournament organizers, people creating the competitions for the players, that'll drive players back more and more to the point where they start creating a behavior like, I know every Tuesday night I'm gonna go to this platform and play in a Call of Duty tournament based on my friend that's organizing it.
Thank you for the thoughtful presentation. What needs to be true for you to have a unit economic customer? I mean, I saw in the deck you had a $4 CAC. Just doing some simple math on the 10% take rate you're taking, is it sort of $40, $50 that they have to wager at some point for that person to become a unit economic positive? And how many users have sort of reached that point?
Yes, so that's exactly right. We have a really low CAC, but we're yet to identify what the real LTV is from our users, right? These tend to be a little bit younger consumers. They have never really bet on sports. They haven't really engaged in wagering. So oftentimes this is the first step into that funnel for them. So like you said, like if we're taking a 10% fee and our customer acquisition cost is $4, we have to get them to spend $40 to make up for the CAC. And that's kind of where we're at today.
Great presentation, Evan. You talked about how your platform is hard-coded to conform to the gaming standards of every state. With states constantly changing their gaming laws and with there being a lot of gray area, how quickly are you able to pivot your platform if those gaming laws change? And talk a little bit more about your legal counsel and trying to navigate all that.
Yes, so the first thing we did is we did a 50-state analysis. It's a game of skill analysis to say, what we could do in each state based on the types of competitions that we offer. So like I said, we built that into the code. And the beauty of it is as regulation changes on a state-by-state basis, we're able to quickly switch that flip on or off depending on what laws come into place. Our anchor investor, I mentioned Tusk Venture Partners, specializes in working with startups that are in highly regulated spaces. In Florida, for example, you can't have pari-mutuel betting where entry fees add up to prize pools. So right now, you can't even play in an entry fee and prize pool tournament in this state on our platform. However, when that law changes, we'll be able to flip that on immediately. It's also conducive to the IP that we offer on our platform. So if Epic Games with Fortnite says, hey, you can't offer any sort of wagering products, this has changed on a dime, we say, no problem, we'll turn that off so no one sees that feature within your tournaments.
Go to market, you talked a little bit about B2C, direct to these consumers at $4 CAC, but you also kind of alluded to a B2B2C strategy where you're going in with these gamers. Which of those do you think is more lucrative? It's hard to go after both, particularly when you're getting off the ground. Which one do you kind of see as the path, knowing what you know today?
It's interesting because the partners that we have that are, in most cases, they're individuals that just kind of built an organic community, and now they're turning themselves into a business. So at the grassroots level, those are the types of people we're working with. But I mentioned a couple of professional sports teams, and we work with NFL athletes. And as it relates to athletes, we'll call them a business. Once they retire, once they get injured, once the offseason comes about, how do they engage their fan base and stay relevant? Well, we're going to say, hey, why don't you create, you're already playing Madden, you stream on Twitch, why don't you create a tournament series out of your name and likeness and bring all of your fans onto our platform? So, there's different types of businesses. I've mentioned the sports teams. We're starting to talk to brands like Red Bull, that want to engage with younger fans. They want to do it in a very authentic way to how people are consuming content and consuming gaming. So B2B to C is really the strategy. How we define the second B there is quite broad.
Great, thanks.
Thank you, guys.
Hi, everyone. My name's Tana, and I'm here to tell you about Illa, the app that is revolutionizing the way that women find other women to do their favorite outdoor activities with. The problem that we're solving for is that 7 out of 10 women say that they would like to spend more time outdoors, but feel held back because they don't have anyone to go with. Whether they're into hiking, camping, biking, or surfing, many of them don't feel comfortable going alone, or they just want a more social experience. This is where Illa comes in. Illa is a supercharged networking platform that provides women with, Why? There's nothing on the screen. I have it in front of me here. Anybody? Monitors? I don't think anyone from audio is listening to me. There we go. So these are the ones that you missed. Thank you. ILA is a supercharged networking platform that provides women with a fast, efficient, and trusted way to find outdoor adventure partners. After creating a detailed profile, users simply submit a request, and ILA uses its AI-powered algorithm to find women with similar locations, schedules, and abilities, and invites them all to a group chat so that they can connect. The name ILA is a woman's name, and ILA is like the mutual friend that's always sending out the group text to make plans for the weekend. Our target market is the rapidly growing community of women that love outdoor activities. The Outdoor Industry Association said that women are the fastest growing segment in the outdoors. In fact, between 2010 and 2020, women's participation in camping alone grew by over 50%. And this trend is expected to continue as women turn to the outdoors as a means of self-care, adventure, and community building. Right now, there are over 80 million women in the US who could benefit from ILA's services. Now, while there are other players in this space, ILA is more community-driven than a one-on-one swiping app, and we're more automated, more data-driven, and more personalized than a community platform like Meetup. We're also the only vertical social network that is designed specifically for active women, and we verify 100% of our members. Our revenue model is based on 3 key revenue streams with both B2B and B2C offerings. Those are premium subscriptions, targeted advertising, and event listings. Excuse me, I just lost my train of thought. And event listings. We expect our gross margins to be around 60%. To get the user base that we'll need to expand our monetization strategy, we're working with outdoor recreation groups like women's hiking clubs, learn to ride camps, and event organizers who already have an active and engaged community. So we have over 12 committed to sharing ILA with their network free of cost because they see the inherent value that ILA provides to their members in between their community events. We've already seen strong traction with our beta testing, and we're confident in our ability to acquire and retain users. Last year, we secured $400,000 from VF Corporation, a leader in the outdoor industry, to build our MVP. Our beta users actually paid to test with us, and our cost of acquisition was just $17, while our lifetime customer value was almost $300. Our low churn rate is a testament to the value that we provide for our members. So after a year and the launch of our third MVP, we're now seeking to raise $1.1 million in funding. We'll use these funds to acquire 100,000 users, to launch our native apps in iOS and Android, to expand to 8 cities, and also reach our break-even point in 2025. To achieve this, we've assembled a team of industry veterans and serial entrepreneurs. My team has over decades of experience in sales, marketing, community building, and tech. I myself am a 3-time founder and have over 20 years experience in the outdoor industry across multiple verticals. We're also all deeply embedded in the culture. ILA is solving a real and painful problem for women who want to get outdoors and don't have anyone to go with. We're excited to grow and to empower millions of women across the country to lead their own adventures, and we hope you'll join us. Happy to take your questions. Sorry about the screen issue in the beginning.
Thank you, Tana. That was a great presentation. Thank you so much. I love ILA already.
Wonderful.
So can you go into more detail about the traction that you guys have so far? And also, where do you think this is going? I mean, how do you want to grow this, really?
Sure. So for starters, with traction, we started building this over a year ago. We started by building out the infrastructure of the algorithm, and we launched a first MVP, got some feedback from our beta users. We did our beta in Denver, by the way, which is a very outdoorsy city. I myself am from Jackson Hole, Wyoming. My CTO is here in Miami, so that's why I'm here at eMerge. But yeah, so we started in Denver with 100 women. It was a closed beta. It was not friends of ours. That's why we used Facebook marketing to find anonymous beta testers so that they wouldn't be biased by being my friend. And they had a really, really great experience on there. And throughout that process, we also had 3,000 on our wait list sign up over that 6-month beta. We actually just soft launched quietly our public beta about 10 days ago. And we're just letting people in very slowly so that we can just work out kind of the final kinks in this beta. But yeah, we've had over 300 women sign up organically. We're not doing any marketing for this in the past 5 or 6 days. So excited to see that grow. And for the future, really my vision is that not only individuals, any woman in this room who loves to get outdoors would be on this platform, but also any brands that are trying to reach this very valuable customer segment. And also, we will essentially become the authority on how women like to spend their free time in the outdoors. And there isn't data on this anywhere. The only consumer data on women in the outdoors is how much they spend on gear. And a lot of us don't always spend or buy women-specific gear. So I think there's a hole that could be really useful to the segment and also to the players to create more programming for women across the industry.
Thank you very much for the presentation. Maybe you're reading a little too much into one of your slides, but it looked like there was a market by market or city by city expansion strategy, at least as it relates to how you presented it on the financials. If that's true, how do you think about that market pre-opening playbook?
Yeah, so we did some very extensive in-market testing with 3 different agencies, so testing this concept with millions of women across the country. And we used the data from that in-market testing to build out our playbook for which cities we would launch to based on population, how many women actually qualify to be users of ours, and secondly, what was their interest? So what were the click-through rates? So in California, obviously, there's tons of, a big population in LA and in the Bay Area, and their interest rates, we were getting click-through rates of like 15%. So we have a map of where to launch with, but we are still letting women in from other areas, even if they aren't specifically in those cities, because unlike something where Uber, where you actually need the car right there, women are traveling. If women do outdoor things, we like to experience other terrain. While I'm here in Miami, I would have loved to be able to use my own app to find someone to surf with on Saturday. So it always behooves us to let women from anywhere jump in.
Sorry, we're having our own troubles over here. Nice job with the slide thing, too. I just
Thank you.
left off. That's never fun to do and hard to do when you're up on stage, but nice job. A little bit more about the target market. I think kind of the questions leading to sort of the addressable market versus the total market. So it's what 2 questions. What does competitive set look like? What are people doing today, and how do you kind of compare to them from a competitive set? And 2, what are you doing for this sort of, I don't know a better word other than call it the sort of intimidation factor, like people who want to be active, but you look at that app and they think, that's not me, I'm not going to climb rocks or something. Have you seen anything in terms of your actual addressable market who not only click through because they want it, but then they're willing to actually kind of pay for it and actually go use it?
Yeah, I'm going to make a quick point of clarification. So we do have a freemium model. So those premium subscriptions are an add-on. So anyone can actually join it for free. So anyone who has interest in, I would love to find some friends, can get on and create a profile and match with women. So our premium subscription has other value add-ons. So just a quick point of clarification. But to answer your question about competition, our biggest competition right now, I'm going to go back to the screen here, but it's social media in different ways. So one is Facebook groups. I bet there's a lot of women in here that are in some sort of community Facebook group, and they're always posting and saying, hey, does anybody want to get together to do X, Y, Z? And what they find is there's 30,000 members in a group, but they never get a response because nobody ever sees it. It kind of feels a little bit like shouting into the abyss or scrolling through endless posts. So that's one thing that we're trying to basically replace. And on the other side, these are women that are posting to TikTok and Instagram just saying, does anybody want to go? Does anyone want to hang out with me? So we see women creatively trying to solve this problem. I have friends who have switched around their Tinder profiles to find someone to ski with. So I see people creatively trying to solve this problem already. And the way that we wanted to approach it was to feel like the friend who's sending the group text or sending the DM in Instagram to say, hey, you guys should all get together. And specifically to your question about getting started, we actually are building in a mentorship feature. So one of the things that women will notice when they sign up is when you say, okay, I surf, it asks you, what is your preferred experience? Is it first time only? So maybe somebody that's never ever done it before really wants to try. versus I'm an expert. And then there's another little add-on there that says, I love helping people get started. So we really want to create this mentorship mentality where women are coming in. So maybe you came in to make friends, to do something that you already do really well. And then once you feel more comfortable within the community, you might reach out to find someone to help you try something new. So that's the value of having a bunch of different sports on there.
Great. Now, we welcome to the stage JourneyTrack.
All right, Miami, my hometown. Great to be here. I'm Ania Rodriguez. I'm the CEO and founder of JourneyTrack, the customer experience cloud for tomorrow's largest leading brands. And I'm here to tell you about this. So for the last 24 years, I was one of the original OGs doing technology in Miami. I worked at IBM, and then I worked with a lot of Fortune 500s, started my own customer experience firm that became one of the largest UX firms across the US, working with the largest brands. There's one thing I learned in those 24 years, that building a great customer experience is not easy. In fact, new data says that big brands spend about 6.7% or $3.1 trillion in trying to improve the customer experience. That's why you and I, when we try to deal with these large brands, it's not so great. Organizational silos at these large companies is awful, and it's frustrating for us as customers. That's why brands turn to customer journey mapping as a method to help them create these experiences. The problem is that each of them do it differently. In fact, they might start out with some workshop features and running mural. They're all essentially trying to put together different parts of the puzzle because each department does it differently. That's where JourneyTrack comes in, providing a journey design, collaboration, and management solution that's easy to use, efficient, and effective. Our customer journey mapping SaaS helps enterprise teams run workshops, create journeys, and more importantly, connect them across the enterprise so that you and I could have a better experience and they can have a shared vision across the team. You may be asking, why is this so important right now? With the economic uncertainty we face, in fact, and all the folks leaving technology companies, it's more important than ever that big companies keep their customers, even small companies. Considering the revenue losses that are happening for organizations are in the trillions, it's clear that, that this is the time to finally do this. In fact, we saw in the last year that 90% of Fortune 500s have hired their customer experience executives, and the strong CAGR is proof. If that didn't convince you, let's talk about our early traction. We launched a little bit over a year. We've already won the hearts of 21 brands, including Google, Ipsos, Prudential, and more. And ending our ARR right now at $352,000 and growing. We offer editor ICE licenses with unlimited viewers. Big companies buy this, and they pay annual contracts. JourneyTrack is a game changer in customer experience. And our unique features that are patent pending allow these companies to quickly go through workshops, saving half the time that they would do today. You'll see that we have some consulting firms already as clients. You'll see that we have big brands. It's because there's a lot of time suck in doing this work, and it's so strategic and important for these large companies. Our leadership team is comprised of experts with proven track success. Our CTO is here with me, and my CMO have locally been involved with Fortune 500s, helping them on both sides of marketing and experience. And the rest of my team has had multiple exits. With such a talented team at the helm, you can trust our team to be able to take JourneyTrack to the next level. Let's talk money and metrics. With the growing traction that we're having, we're building the pipeline, leveraging both a product-led growth and a sales-led growth. Our ask is that we're raising $2 million to invest in sales and marketing. We already have some of the rounds filled, and we're continuing to develop product and amplify our sales and marketing. By partnering with us, you're going to be investing in the future customer experience and invest in how to transform the way that you and I interact with products. We're thrilled about the possibilities, and we're looking forward to answering any questions today. Thank you. Come visit us in booth SS46.
Thank you, Anya. That was a great presentation. Can you build a little bit on what is that, like your added value and what differentiates you from what's out there in the market?
For sure. So the biggest thing, which is the thing that we went to market and patent, and we're going to patenting. Today, brands, when they do the work, where they do it with like Accenture, the consulting company I had, whoever it is, they're going to spend typically about 18 weeks doing this work, okay? Our early customers are saying they're cutting it that at least by half the time, which is brilliant. And we're the only one that offers that and is patent pending. Additionally, most of these large companies not just have one or two journeys like small businesses may have. They typically have 60 to hundreds of journeys. The way that we're built the system that's easy and effective to use allows them to see everything across multiple products end to end. And that's for them is huge because then they're able to identify what they need to prioritize that's important for customers like you and I, because otherwise it gets lost. And we also integrated with Jira to help them see where they are in the pipeline to ensure that as they're building whatever it is that they need to fix, they're able to see as it goes. So this is huge for them as an enterprise. They don't have all that connectedness. And we're basically taking 4 different things that they use to piece the mill together and put it in one. For them, it's been amazing. And I built this, by the way, with them at home. Our alpha and beta was with Fortune 500 companies who were actually using a standard design process, building it and asking us to push in certain ways. And we continue to build and amplify through their direct experience. So it's been really amazing because it's been a really nice partnership.
So great presentation. So based on the industry that the user is in, does JourneyTrack, through use of AI, recommend as a starting point, like templates, customer journey templates?
For sure. Okay. Templates, and not only that, what's really neat, and we're working through all the legal, because granted, all these big companies are worried about the legal with AI. What it does, it also has a recommendation engine. So like when there's pain points in the journey, there might be some long-term fix they have to do, which is going to take them a year. But through best practices in our AI, we allow them to give them steps, other things they can do to, based on what everybody else is doing, to help them say, maybe you want to do this in the interim as a short-term fix versus that. So it's really, really, that is pretty new, and it's still in alpha. And part of the challenges that you see with the large corporations is it's very, we have to go through all the legal, because this is very strategic data. This is their strategy. This is big for them.
Thank you for the presentation. Can you unpack a little bit the variance between the 300 and some K ARR and the 21 customers? Because I think we're seeing logos out there like Google, very impressive enterprise customers, but sort of the small spend that they're...
Yeah, so initially, as we started, it was, we had to do a little bit of a land and expand strategy. So we wanted to just get in. Some of these initial licenses, they want to do almost a proof of concept. So year 1 has been a lot about that. What's really awesome is now we're seeing the $60,000 licenses, which we're starting to see those happen more often. So it's starting to accelerate. And if you look at our monthly, it's now pushing faster than it had been in the first 6 months. But now we started, and now we're having to correct a little bit for the lower AR. But I'm okay with that, because what's happening is even within teams, they're now a new team is starting to add seats, another seat. So we're seeing new AR, and that new AR that's adding every renewal, or depending on how big their team is growing or expanding, they're going to add new seats.
And is there mid-market pricing relative to enterprise pricing, or is it all sort of just one platform?
So right now, my strategy, go-to-market strategy, was enterprise, since I know enterprise. That is part of the long-term strategy. I'm just trying to hit the big boys. There's a really neat opportunity that's happening. It is a land and grab kind of thing. So I want to get them. And quite frankly, the tool itself can be used by smaller businesses and mid-sized businesses. But it's really intended for the optimizing for the large ones.
Thanks. Congrats on the success to date. Tell us a little bit about the difference between the fundraise. So going from you do go to loan, you have decent pipeline, versus up to the $3 million you think. What is that? Is that marketing, just you're getting out in front of people, or is it more product improvements?
Yeah, so let me show you that a second here. So here's sort of the breakdown. So we're going to continue we're really being aggressive with our engineering. So we want to spend a little under half of the money on that. But we do, the successes we've had with Claudia's work as a CMO, it's been amazing. But we've had very little. We just have had such great word of mouth. So we did really need to start spending. We got a lot of leads through one of the conferences for Forrester, which is one of the bigger conferences. That was amazing for us because it gave us a lot. And we're back in June at that. But we need to go spend, and it's time to spend. And we have a little bit of a search campaign, we have a little bit of LinkedIn campaign, but we're not we're not making the mark. What's nice is because people like know me through networks, they're like, hey, they're, you know, and I'm trying to work. But what's really cool about what's happened is the typical customer I had on the consulting side is not the same customer here, even though it's the same type of person, because what's happening is the teams that do the hiring for consulting, they don't have their own teams, but the people who are doing it themselves now can use it because they have their internal team. So I'm capturing those people, which I never captured. Awesome. Thank you.
Excellent. Let's welcome Kind Designs to the stage.
Hi, I'm Anya, founder of Kind Designs. I was born in Ukraine, and when I was a teenager, I got the opportunity to come to this country because my dad got a job at the space program. So I arrived to Kennebunkport, Maine, not speaking any English, definitely not knowing the cool thing to wear on the first day of school, but feeling so excited about being in this country. And so then, like a good immigrant child, I went to law school, and that's how I ended up in Miami, where Kind Designs is based today. I graduated, I became a prosecutor, and as I'm living here and really enjoying life, I started to notice something that would change the course of my life. My city was sinking. And the scary thing is that the narrative around this problem is basically, oh, well, nothing we can do. Enjoy Miami while you can, because we will all be underwater by 2060. Here's a cover article from the Rolling Stone saying goodbye. And that didn't make sense to me. So I started looking into space, and I learned that the first line of defense to rising sea levels is seawalls. This first seawall we put in the water 100 years ago is exactly the same product we're still putting in the water today. It's expensive, it leaches chemicals, and it destroys marine habitats. In fact, we will destroy 50,000 miles of marine habitats by installing seawalls by 2040. So I started to think, how can we save our city and protect our sea life? And that's how we came up with our patent-pending 3D printed living seawalls. So the way that seawalls are made now, as you see in the picture above, is contractors make their panels using molds. We make the panels below using a robotic arm. We make a panel in 45 minutes compared to what used to take 24 hours. And our living seawall meets all the building codes, same strength, it's the same installation method, but it also functions as a reef. It sequesters carbon, it has built-in sensors at no additional cost. Our living seawalls are cheaper than conventional toxic walls. That's why we already have $4.5 million in purchase orders, and we'll start production in Miami in June. In Florida, the seawall market is huge. In Florida alone, contractors spend $500 million a year making their own panels, like you saw in the picture. There's 596 of these seawall contractors. These are our customers. US as a group will spend $416 billion on seawalls by 2040. And globally, there's 507 cities at risk who need this technology. So there's so much room for growth. Our business model is super simple. B2B. We make panels, we sell them to the contractors, they do all the installation, they do all the permitting, and for them it's the same price to make their own panels or for us to deliver them the living seawalls to the construction site. We make money by selling seawall panels. Already we have a 30% margin, and just by capturing 10% of the Florida market alone, our revenue projection in 2 years is $60 million. Plus, we have revenue from selling the data and carbon credits. Our team comes from The Boring Company, which is Elon Musk's company that uses concrete panels for tunnels, and Icon, the biggest 3D printing houses company in the country. So it's a combination of scientists, engineers, and 3D printing experts. We're raising $5 million in our seed round. We already closed $1 million, all from strategic investors, including our biggest customer, the biggest seawall contractor in Florida, former Secretary of Energy, and a Florida congressman. And we're raising 4 more and seeking the award here today so we can get printing. Because at Kind Designs, we have one mission: to replace every toxic seawall with a coral reef, make sure that every coastal community in this country is protected and that every at-risk city in the world is saved. Please join us.
Awesome presentation. Can you talk about the lifespan of a traditional seawall, and then how long does your seawall last? And when your seawall's lifespan is over, how is the coral handled?
I love this question. So our seawalls right now, the lifespan is identical to traditional seawalls. And that's because building codes require us to use rebar. Rebar is like the metal poles, that you put in concrete structures. Well, underwater, rebar expands and it pops the seawall. It pops any concrete. That's why all seawalls fail after 40 to 50 years. We already have a way, and we have been printing our seawalls with no rebar and identical strength. So when the building codes allow it, and we're working with Miami Beach right now, our seawalls without rebar will last literally 300 years instead of 30 to 40 years. The only reason we're not starting without rebar is because of building codes, but we have that technology.
Thank you so much. I love this product. Can you walk us through like the sale process and the sales cycle? How is that? How long does it take? And
we're very lucky because it's so simple. Our customers it's a very concentrated set of customers. We sell to coastal construction companies who do seawalls. And these companies are very small, very generational, and this is very niche. They all just do seawalls and docks. So in Florida, there's 596 of these companies. We have that database, and we're in contact with the owners because it's a small company. It's very easy just to communicate with them directly. Our orders, 4.5 million, come from just 3 of them. That's their needs for 1 year. There's 593 more that we can sell to.
Thank you for the presentation. As a fellow Ukrainian immigrant, it's a real treat to see you on stage presenting.
Oh, I'm so lucky. You're a judge.
What testing has been done to date in terms of, you just talked about sort of 40-year versus 300-year resistance. Has there been extensive testing done? And do you find that the customers who are purchasing your product are risk averse in terms of shifting away from the traditional seawall construction?
What's neat about what we're doing is it's very simple. In many ways, we're just like a traditional seawall, right? It's a concrete rectangle that has all the same strength. So we do all the strength tests that a normal seawall would have to do. So we meet all the strength tests, and we also show that sea life attaches. And we can accelerate time by using a lab where they simulate category 4 hurricanes, basically. So there's waves and there's wind, so you can see how it will perform over time.
Go ahead.
Great presentation. A lot of questions, actually. A couple of quick ones. What is your seawall made of? Is it also concrete?
We have to use concrete for building codes, but ours is non-toxic. It doesn't leach any chemicals.
Okay, and then the buyer at the end, so not the contractor that buys from you, do they have any say in what you put in? I mean, or are they looking at yours and saying that's a great alternative, it's the same price? Where does that kind of second piece go?
Sure, the ultimate user or buyer of seawalls is either government projects or private projects, right? So a government project does like a bidding process, and our contractors who submit the proposals with our panels are much more likely to win those projects if the seawall is also great for the community and great for sea life. So it's a big benefit for them. If the customer is a homeowner or HOA, a building that's on the water, this is also something that's great for the community. And if it's the same price, then they're very happy to substitute the panels.
All right, last question, and I'll yield the mic. Back to the testing from a sea life perspective, what have you done, what testing have you done, other than being a cleaner chemical that you're using from a concrete perspective? What is the interaction? Have you done any testing interaction with sea life? Does it actually work as a coral reef? Give me some kind of background or data on that.
Yeah, sure. So we tested our panels underwater. We put a structure in the water in France. It showed the sea life was attaching there. We start production in Miami in June. So our very first panel is going in the water here. DERM, which is the permitting agency, is doing a 6-month study to show that local sea life is also attaching, after which we will be certified as self-mitigating, which means that contractors who use our panels don't have to go through this whole environmental mitigation process with the county, which actually actually takes up 90% of the permitting process. They will save over a year of permitting time by using our panels.
How similar or different is the installation and delivery
Identical.
process? Okay. So
Identical.
in terms of training your ultimate buyer of the product,
Identical.
how much? Okay.
Thank you.
Excellent. Well, let's welcome Enware to the stage.
Hey everyone. Why do you need a NASA lab at home just to play games? Hardware, cable, weird configurations, all that jazz just to play games. Remember when you needed that horrible DVD player just to play movies? That's what happens in the gaming industry as of today, and that's what we want to change with Enware. The cloud gaming platform that allows you to play any game, anywhere. With Enware, you can bring Call of Duty from your Steam account, your Epic Games account to the cloud, and now you can play Call of Duty on your phone, your toaster or laptop, wherever you want, for only $10 a month. This is how the future of the gaming industry looks like. Having the freedom to play your games however you want, wherever you want. In an industry that is bigger than all the other industries combined. There are 3 billion gamers in the world, and only 10% of them have good enough PCs or consoles to play all existing games. If we go to Latin America, there are 300 million gamers, and only 10 million have PCs or consoles to play games. The most extended console, the PlayStation 2, a console that my parents got me when I was 9 years old. I'm getting 30, so I'm young, but not that young. So you can see that there are 20-year-old consoles in the Latin American market, and that's what we want to solve with Enware. Why are we special, and why are we going to be the winning horse of this race? Well, we are the only cloud gaming platform that allows you to synchronize and play more than 20,000 video games. That's 20 times more than our biggest competitor. And we are the only cloud gaming platform that has a proprietary video compression algorithm that solves the 2 main challenges in the cloud gaming space, which are latency and keeping a smooth gaming experience even if you have a very bad connection. Not Google, not Facebook, not these public traded companies. We are the only ones with this technology. We're a seed-stage company that has invested historically $10,000 on marketing, and we brought 500,000 users from all over the world to our exclusive waiting list. We have recently started to open our waiting list to these users. We have 7,000 monthly active users in the platform and growing. In the last months, we've demonstrated retention, low cost of acquisition, and unit economic cost, and now we're raising $3.5 million to deploy more servers, keep up with the demand of the users, and demonstrate the same KPIs that we have in the platform with a higher volume of users. This is the amazing ecosystem around Enware, with venture capitals, with previous knowledge in the gaming space, gaming veterans coming from companies like Electronic Arts, Xbox, Riot Games, and an amazing team of young, talented, and motivated entrepreneurs that 3 years ago had no idea about entrepreneurship. No one believed that we were going to make a dent in the gaming industry. And today we're striking partnerships and collaborations with the names of the likes of Samsung, AMD, Razer, Call of Duty, the biggest publishers in the world. And all of this with the effort of our amazing team. So if you want to know more about us, I'm going to leave here my contact information so you can join us in the gaming revolution. Thank you.
Thank you, Daniel. Great presentation.
Thank you.
This definitely looks like the Spotify of gamers.
That's right.
So good. So yeah, thinking about the story of Spotify, how does that work? I mean, how do you get all this, games into your platform? How much pushback you've received from, I don't know, how does it work getting these licenses?
Yeah.
How difficult is that? How
Yeah.
are you working through that legally?
Great question. Thank you. So what we basically do is you need a computing power in your PC. So the technology that we do is we have data centers, and in those data centers, we execute the game. So it's probably 2,000 kilometers away from you as a user. We execute the game there, and we send you a hyper real-time streaming to your phone, your console, wherever you can play video, pretty much. You can use it to play now video games. And let's say that's the magic that has to happen to. It happens so fast that you don't even notice that it's 2,000 kilometers away from you. In the sense of the licensing, what we do is we integrate with other stores like Steam, like Epic Games, and we verify that you as a user has purchased previously that game on Steam, on Epic Games, so you can play it on anywhere. So at the beginning, what we want to do is to provide access to gamers, and then if we want to steal gamers from Xbox and other companies, you need to provide something else, like content, like what you would see in Netflix or this competition between content. And that's the next step that we want to take. But first, we need to generate a lot of traffic so we can strike those type of deals. Thank you.
Thank you for the presentation. You talked about sort of proving out CAC, proving out some of the unit economic metrics. Can you talk a little bit about that and sort of the monetization strategy, please?
Yeah. So we have two types of subscription, the base plan, which is $8.99, and the premium plan, which is $10.99, that pretty much gives you some additional features that our, let's say, more core gamers have been requesting. And let's say that cloud gaming is kind of a co-working space. You have a server, you can have some concurrency, and let's say that you have 5 seats in your co-working space, but that doesn't mean that you have 5 clients only throughout the whole month. So that's kind of the, let's say, the challenge in the cloud gaming space, and that's what happened in the last 10 years. So now we have done, it's taken like a whole year of a partnership with Equinix and other allocation providers. There are the providers of AWS, Google Cloud, and all these. So we have our own premises, our own data centers. And with that, let's say that we've been able to get to approximately 60% gross margin when we have each server full on subscribers.
One of the challenges in PC gaming is lag. As you're transitioning console games to the cloud, have you had any problems with the lag time?
It's kind of a trade-off, because what happens is that in the normal scenario, you have the lag between you and the data center. So now the game is moved to the data center, so you kind of technically have 0 lag in terms of your connection with the server of the game, but then you have the latency. And then what we do is we have a ratio of quality, let's say, something that is farther than 2,000 kilometers away, it's not good enough. So we need to deploy another data center. So with that, we're able to deploy data centers. For example, in the United States, if we want to cover the whole area, that would be 3 data centers in the United States. And the same with the European Union, Latin America. So let's say that the lag, it's just a trade-off in cloud gaming, basically.
The impressive, the 500,000 on the waiting list, impressive. You said I think I saw 7,000 that you have that are using the product. Are all of those paying customers, and how often are they using it?
No, let's say that the current focus has been all the time trying to first have enough engagement so we can generate a scarcity. For example, what we have in the platform is a weird thing that is called the code of the day. And it's kind of a Willy Wonka ticket that you can get each day. They run out very fast. And with that, you can play for free in the platform. So the 7,000 users that we have in the platform are constantly accessing or trying to get that code of the day. And we have, let's say, a 10% of them paying subscribers.
Great, thank you.
Thank you. Thanks.
Great. Now let's invite Pixley to the stage.
Hello, Miami. Thank you for having me here today. I'm Lee Mills with Pixley, and I'm stoked to have the opportunity to present how we save construction professionals time and money with documentation and collaboration. This is really important because 30% of construction projects have disputes, and the average dispute is $51 million. So it might be one thing if you're remodeling your kitchen and they painted it the wrong eggshell color, or they laid the foundation for a hospital in the wrong location. So the way to protect yourself from disputes is with photos. But the problem with photos is that they're really time consuming. So the superintendent, the project manager, the engineer walks a job site. That could easily take an hour. Then they go back to their desk or their trailer. They plug in their phone, believe it or not. They upload their photos to a server, organize them in a folder, download them through the computer, mark them up with circles and arrows and comments in PowerPoint, and then email them to sometimes dozens of people every day. So that can take anywhere from 1 to 5 hours. The solution is Pixley. We make it super simple to snap, tag, share photos and videos in an easy-to-use, field-first app that everybody can collaborate on in real time, instantly from anywhere. So photos are shared in workspaces, they're organized in project feeds, in albums, and then you can add tags. And tags are really important because this is where we have IP, but they add a ton of value because tags become valuable data, but they can also be used to add comments and conversations, to ask questions or get things clarified on your project. But they can also be used to assign tasks. And then you have better accountability for who's doing what, when, and where, or not. And then all of that powers a dashboard in the palm of your hand. In addition to the dashboard in the palm of your hand, there's a desktop version, so everybody back at the office can also see what's going on without having to travel to the job site. So we're saving time by reducing unnecessary travel and CO2 as well. The construction market industry is massive. It's one of the largest and oldest in the country and in the world. And on my way here today, I saw no less than a dozen construction projects of all shapes and sizes. So there's over 7.5 million workers in construction right now, and helping them be more efficient on job sites is incredibly important because there's a shortage. And the market for software alone is almost $2.5 billion. We know our target market, we know how to get in front of them, we know how to solve their pain. We're not a vitamin, we are a pain solver. We are a B2B SaaS software model. We have a freemium version, so anybody can use Pixley for free. We call them, we nurture them with emails and webinars and get them to upgrade based on features and storage. You can subscribe to Pixley for as little as $29 a month or $228 a year per person. And if they save 1 hour a week, the ROI is massive. Our forecasted revenue for next year is $1.5 million. We have massive product validation. We worked really closely with early customers to design Pixley for UI and UX before we've written any code. We have LOIs, we have pilot projects, and as of last quarter, we started commercial sales. We have $10,000 in ARR and 4 customers. Our biggest customer is a hospital that's doing a 10-year expansion project that is massive. It's $500 million alone. Our go-to-market strategy is something I've done time and time again. This is not my first rodeo. I've done this successfully for several SaaS startups. It's a combination of direct outbound cold calls and emails to target prospects and people that are starting projects, combined with inbound marketing. So thought leadership content, blogs, ebooks, brings people in the top of the funnel. And then we have a marketing engine that's filled with automation. We also have strategic partnerships. We're approved to partner with Procore, which is like the Google of construction, and Autodesk, which is like the Apple of construction. So we know we're onto something great when we're already allowed to partner with guys of that caliber. We do have competitors, but nobody's as easy to use as Pixley. And that's really important because if you're not easy to use, people will not use it in the field. They'll try it one time and forget about it. It's also important to point out that several of these competitors have already been acquired. So we're in a really hot space. We got a rockstar team. I've been doing this for 20 years. I know how to build teams, launch products. Our co-founder, CTO, Patrick, is an architect who created the idea to solve his own problem. Thayer is a third-generation real estate developer and construction professional, and then we have a world-class CFO. Help me help you build Miami better and faster.
A quick question. You said your first customer was hospitals. I was under the impression that you were selling into the people that are doing the building, but it's not. It sounds like you're doing the people that are buying the building. Is that
Well,
right?
there's a whole ecosystem. So the building owner is the one that's paying for the project. So they're the ultimate customer. The building owner hires an architect, they design it, and then they hire a general contractor. The general contractor hires subcontractors to do the building. And then in the hospital project, there's a third party called an independent inspector of record that keeps everybody honest. And in that Sharp Hospital project, our main customer writing the check is Sharp Hospital. And then they determine who uses what software.
So is it project by project then? I know the hospital is a 10-year plan, but do you have to kind of resell your customers as opposed to a...
No, it's a annual recurring revenue. So they sign up for 1 year and it automatically renews.
Just for as long as that project's going, though. And then when that
Correct.
project's done, presumably they would.
Well, it actually goes above and beyond that. So we want to help people before they're pushing dirt, so to find pre-existing conditions that can impact the cost of the project, all the way through the building cycle. And then when they hand over the keys, the building comes to life. Then somebody has to take care of it. So they maintain it and they fix it and they repair it. So that's what Pixley is built to do.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think on the spectrum of passive to active capture, you're more on the passive side. And how does that compare to, you know, the hollow builders and open spaces of the world that are increasingly going into active?
Yeah, that's a great question. So Hollow Builder was recently acquired. I know those guys. Construction Site was recently acquired. SmartBid was recently acquired. They do what's called 360 reality capture. And something happened recently. Previously, you had to have a 360 camera. You had to have it on your hard hat or walk around with a stick. And every time you take 5 steps, press a button. And then at the end of that job walk, it could be 15 minutes or an hour, it meshes all those photos together to create that VR experience. But it's not instant, it's not automatic, it's expensive, and it takes days or 2 or a week of training. So I was a fractional CMO for a company called Qpix before I realized there's a massive opportunity for an easier solution. And then the iPhone now has LiDAR cameras, so you don't have to have any extra hardware. So LiDAR, 360, and AI is all on our roadmap.
So it's obviously project-based. How do you maintain that customer after that big project is over with?
Well, Sharp Hospital has over a dozen projects in San Diego, and they're expanding. And so once you get an account, they take you with you. And so it's all about collaboration. So you pull more people in, and then you have a proof of concept. You have like a land and expand, and it becomes part of their workflow and part of their tool set. And if you're saving them time and they can go home sooner to their kids and watch them play softball or sell Girl Scout cookies, they'll renew. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Great. Let's have Spontively join us.
Awesome. Here in Miami. Just want to say thank you for, it's an honor to represent Tampa Bay and St. Pete and my Atlanta crew. How's it going? Thanks. So, we're Spontively. We empower community teams to build simple data dashboards without the need of an engineer. We're currently generating over $38,000 in monthly recurring revenue. Our revenues are growing by 100% month over month, and we have over $450,000 in annual recurring revenue with a healthy 80% profit margin, all in under 6 months. We have over 360 customers as a qualified lead in our pipeline, and the value of this pipeline currently sits at $2.6 million. And here's some of the companies that we're working with. We're working with large tech companies, companies like Airbnb, Salesloft, and Discord. Now, every company is building a community. Whether you're a founder at eMerge or you're getting product feedback, community is a vital need for your organization. But we rarely stop to think about how hard it is to build and maintain these communities. That's why I want to introduce you to Sally. Sally is a community manager for eMerge. Sally engages with new and existing customers both in person and online. She runs programs, events, she manages the exhibition booths. From the customer perspective, Sally is the face of the company. But Sally has this huge problem. She has no tangible data or insights into her community. Her community is scattered all over the place across many different platforms that don't speak to each other. Platforms like Eventbrite, Zoom, and Slack. She could spend hours trying to collect this data, but it's way too time-consuming. And we see hundreds of new job positions for community managers. In the past year alone, this market has grown by 30%, bringing the total value of this market to a staggering $47 billion. Our solution is we streamline and automate Sally's entire workflow. Sally can now create simple dashboards all in one place by dragging and dropping. And by doing so, she generates new sales leads for her company. She also saves 50 hours a month, but most importantly, she gains those insights that she's been lacking that she can showcase to her VPs and executives. And we're targeting mid-market to enterprise level customers. And these customers are really focused on product and community as a go-to-market strategy. Our customers, they love us. We have an NPS of 80. On average, our customers are signing 2.5-year deals. We have an enterprise plan and also a mid-market plan. And based on our customer feedback, we've identified the top needs of community managers and compared it to what our competitors are offering. And you can clearly see that our competitors are not addressing the major pain points that community managers are facing right now. We have a diverse team of ex-IBMers and community builders. Myself, I grew and exited 2 startups and used to work at IBM and Microsoft and was on the early team of Power BI. Marissa is our COO and co-founder. She grew a startup community by 45% month over month. Marcelo is our lead engineer, and he has over 15 years experience working at Google and Amazon. And we have a fantastic group of advisory board members, and these members have a strong community background. They're ex-Meta, ex-Salesloft, and also ex-NASA as well. And we're venture-backed. We raised a pre-seed round of $2 million, closed that, and we're in the middle of raising a next seed round. We're backed by Mark Cuban companies, and Ryan Holmes and Manny Pata from founders of Hootsuite, Marcus Adolfson, Andreas Calabresi from Tampa Bay Ventures, and Janine Sua from Brazilian Capital. We have far more demand than we can supply. By the end of this year, we're going to be hitting $1.5 million in ARR. If you have any questions, feel free to chat. We're going to talk about community.
Thanks, Anthony. Great presentation, great product. I really liked it. So are you raising money right now?
Yeah, we're in the middle of our seed round. We're raising our seed round, and we're 80% subscribed. We're probably going to be oversubscribing it from our previous investors.
So you're not raising?
Yeah, we're raising. We're in the middle of our round right now. So we're raising $3 million right now. And we're 80% committed.
All right, thanks. And then, I think it's a great solution. What is that added value that you guys have that it's not out there in the market? What is your biggest differentiator?
The biggest thing is right now, in order for you to build these dashboards, you need a front-end engineer, or you need a data tool that's front-end, like Looker, Tableau, and you need an engineer, and then you need a middleware, right? We're eliminating all of that. So you don't need to have a data engineer. From the intern to the CFO can drag and drop and build a report within 5 minutes and connecting to all the tools that they need.
What are the integration challenges that exist in this business, and how many integrations have been built out today, and sort of what does the pipeline look like?
Great question. So we have built out over 120 applications so far. The biggest challenges have been the social media channels, and that's one of the reasons why we took money from Hootsuite. So Ryan Holmes and Hootsuite were founding in that channel for our integrations into social media. We took their money very strategically so that we can bypass that.
You mentioned part of the value of the dashboard was being able to drive revenue. I didn't connect the sort of dashboard aspect to know what's going on with your business and convert that into driving revenue.
Absolutely. So you can actually qualify new leads. So I can say, hey, Anthony attended eMerge, mentioned it on Slack, retweeted about it in social. So on the top end of the funnel, we can actually identify that single user as a potential brand ambassador, an influencer, or a really qualified lead.
Great, thank you. Appreciate the presentation.
Thanks.
Great. Let's have us if you could welcome Standard Measure Technologies to the stage.
At Standard Measure Technologies, we are building the future of virtual sizing. With our patent-pending technology, we provide brands and e-commerce platforms with a virtual sizing solution to help their customers make more informed decisions when shopping online. Our first product, Nail Street, innovates in the beauty space, where we take precision fingernail measurements with less than 1 millimeter of accuracy, helping customers shop for press-on nails. Hi, my name is Aurelia Edwards. I'm the founder and CEO, and about 4.5 years ago, I missed my cousin's out-of-state wedding welcome party. You see, that day I was getting ready, and I decided to use some leftover press-on nails that I had tumbling out of my closet, when I quickly realized I'd be unable to finish my manicure. I was missing 2 sizes. I now had to stop at the store on the drive down from New Jersey to DC, got stuck in traffic, but I was buying 30 nails when I only needed 2. And that's when I realized that the way that we sized for press-on nails was flawed, and I wanted to fix that. 6 weeks after that weekend, I opened a pop-up store in New York City. We manually measured customers in store, and what we realized, our customers wanted to shop online, and they wanted a virtual solution to help them do that. And that's what we gave them. With Nailstry, prompts will seamlessly guide you through a choreographed selection of hand gestures, and behind the scenes, our computer vision and clever math will quickly detect and magically measure your nails in a snap. Your sizes are saved to your profile, and they'll update when your designer is ready, and they'll have everything they need to make you custom design nails. You only need 10, not 30. Now, we've come a really long way from that pop-up store in New York City. With our patent-pending technology, we built out an Etsy-style marketplace around the technology. That allowed us to build credibility and make sure that it worked. We organically engaged with over 5,000 users, generating some revenue, but now we're moving on to our B2B offerings. Happy to say we have 26 brands in our pipeline, and we have our first LOI with a beauty brand in Japan, and we have a major co-branding partnership with a consumer goods company and a major retailer here in the US. And we see other use cases for our technology outside of beauty. Now, we make money a couple of different ways. Our B2B SaaS models engages with brands, e-commerce platforms, and we can also offer enterprise solutions. As I said, we have a marketplace where we take a 15% transaction on all of those things that go through, a 15% commission on the transactions that pass through. And then we're also exploring B2C and B2B options with a gross margin from about 60 to 80%. Now, people always ask, how big is this market? The global nail care industry is on trend to hit $30 billion by the year 2030, with artificial nails coming in at $12.5 billion. And for the first time in history, artificial nails are on pace to surpass nail polish sales this year, and that's a big deal. Now, do we have competitors in the space? There are some competitors, but they too are looking for a way to personalize their customer shopping experiences. Instead of sending sizing kits, they're looking for a virtual solution so that their customers can know their sizes online. And that's what we do. So, who else better to do it? I have a master's in cosmetic science and over 20 years in the spa and wellness industry. Our CTO, Roddy Richard, is a technical architect and a venture-backed CTO. And our lead engineer, Dario, who's somewhere in the audience here, is the brains behind what we're doing. He has computer vision knowledge and has worked on our computer vision models. We're supported by an amazing advisory board, and I'd like to say that I was one of the first companies in Apple Entrepreneur Camp's cohort for Black founders, where they helped us specifically optimize our technology. Now, with standard measure technologies, we want to be at the forefront of precision fit. And then we're starting with beauty, but seeing other use cases as in jewelry and accessories, as well as in the immersive space when e-commerce goes into XR gaming and the metaverse, we want to sit really nicely under those AR trying platforms. Now, we are here raising $1 million, and that will trigger 3 benchmarks, which will show us a revenue of about $2.5 million. By 3xing our marketplace users, bringing on about 70 new B2B customers, and then building out features that we can then upsell to the customers that we're currently using. Personalized shopping is the future, and we're starting with Nailstry. Come visit us at SS85 to get your hands measured. Thank you.
So I have a 6-year-old daughter who loves to do her nails, and often she'll see her mother's nails, but they're the wrong size. Does your technology work on all size nails, kids, and all different finger sizes?
All size nails. So we have solved for the margin of error in your camera phone with a precision of less than 1 millimeter. So yes, it will size children's nails as well.
So the revenue comes on the B2B side, but for them to show up, you need to build the consumer side. What's the go-to-market to bring people into using your product?
Well, we built out the consumer side in terms of the marketplace in order to test our technology. That was the easiest way to get users on and figure out what they actually wanted, because we wanted to make sure we were building a solution that people wanted. We were approached by a major retailer, even though it was on our pipeline for further on, but we did see the value in having our B2B go-to-market strategy earlier on. So in terms of getting customers, we have an organic way to get them to the marketplace through community and just word of mouth, and for B2B through relationships and then going to conferences and trade shows. And some of the grants that we've won, we have relationships with major retailers and beauty brands as well that has helped us build those relationships there.
thank you. What a great journey. Congrats on everything that you've achieved so far.
Thanks.
Thinking about like what's next for you guys, how do you see growing yourself in the future? You talked about jewelry. Do you need to develop your technology more? Do you need a patent to get involved with all those like businesses and enterprises?
So the plan is to fortify what we're doing with Nailstry, build that business so that's revenue generating and on its own. And then yes, exploring, we started working on jewelry already and looking at watches and bracelets. Do we need a patent for that? Depending on where our accuracy leads us, we're striving for precision. And there are some other major players in the space, but their accuracy is nowhere near. It's still within the 1 centimeter range. And we've already seen some traction with our accuracy less than that. So we do have a provisional on holding that date for the jewelry, and we will explore that more in the future.
Excellent. Well, last but not least for our early stage pitches, let's welcome to the stage Usco Privacy.
Hello, everybody. My name is Juha. I'm the founder of Usco. And I'd like to ask everybody here, do you guys know what is the best-selling product in the world right now? It's actually you. And in particular, it's your data. This is a massive problem. Big tech is making millions of dollars off of you every single hour selling your data. Yet none of us are getting anything in return. How many here have bought something on Amazon in the last 6 months? I should be seeing a lot of hands. Okay, how about in the last day? Okay, yeah, probably should have asked that. Pretty much everyone. You might not realize that Amazon data is some of the most valuable personal data that exists about you. What this means is it's really a chronicle of most of our purchase history. Amazon is making $31 billion every year by selling ads against that data. And again, as users, we get nothing in return. What's really crazy is the sellers on Amazon that pay for that data are not even allowed to contact you directly, even once they buy it. We have the solution. What we do is we allow you as a user to solve this disconnect. We connect the Amazon sellers directly with you as a customer and cut out the middleman. Our app will give you great analytics on your spending, allowing you to spend smarter on Amazon, as well as when you read messages from sellers, you will be paid every single time. Security and privacy is at our core. Unlike other tech companies that will tell you they keep your data safe, we actually do. We never store any data on our servers, and we store it all on the hard drive of your device. This is next level security for your data. In fact, Usco is Finnish for trust. This is an absolutely massive market. There's over 300 million shoppers like us on Amazon with over 1 million active sellers trying to reach us. Amazon, in a few years, has built the 3rd largest advertising platform in the entire world, and it's slated to double next year. This is our market. Why is now the right time to launch this company? Well, privacy laws already exist, but more are coming, and they're getting stricter. Technical changes like Apple's app tracking transparency, which asked all of us, do you want to be tracked by apps? 96% of people said no to that. And that one change cost Facebook over $20 billion just in 1 quarter. There's also a huge movement towards data ownership, especially in the Web3 world. In the future, the only way to deep target users is if users opt into that, and Usco will power that interaction. We spent a lot of time researching our competition, and most data monetization platforms monetize our browsing history. We actually think your purchase history is more valuable, and we can add this functionality later on. We have 1,200 users on the platform right now, representing over $20 million in Amazon spending. We're working with 6 advertisers to test the platform, and we have another 50 in the pipeline. We're asking for $2 million to scale what we're doing, to build a world-class growth team behind this product, as well as add support for other platforms outside of Amazon. Our business model is simple. We charge a fee, and when we charge that fee, we actually send 80% of that money back to you as the users, and we keep 20% for our platform. Here's a quick look at our financials. We'll be signing our first paying customers later this quarter. looking to hit 50,000 users next year at an average of around $10 a month per user with about an average of 50 cents per message. We believe this can be a billion-dollar company in 5 years. My name is Juha. I'm an immigrant entrepreneur. Most recently, I built WinCode Academy, South Florida's largest coding school. We were acquired 2 years ago. I'm working with an amazing developer and have an awesome team of investors and advisors who are all South Florida based behind us. So for everybody in the crowd, please stop making money for big tech. Cash in on yourself with Usko. And if you haven't already, come visit our booth to see how your Amazon spending stacks up with the rest of the conference. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Juha. So it's not quite clear how does it work. I mean, it's a layer of software that will be sitting in Amazon, and how is that integration with Amazon working?
So 2 questions there. So we're an app. So when you download the app, we log in as you to your Amazon account, and we download your purchase history to your device. So now you own this data. We have a system where these messages can be sent into the app as a direct message to you from brands without identifying who you are. So these brands can send you a direct message. If you read that, that's when you actually get paid. So the integration with Amazon is just like if you and I logged into Amazon and downloaded our purchase history. So there's no way for Amazon to know what we're doing. And basically what we're doing is giving you that ownership and power of your data back.
We looked at, thanks for the presentation. We looked at a couple of different kind of companies in this space where cookies go away and kind of this regulatory environment changes. You just mentioned you think it would be a billion-dollar company in 5 years. Do you think the regulatory, my opinion is that in order for this to work and scale, you need this sort of regulatory kick in the pants, so to speak? Like, as consumers, many of us don't know what we don't know, and we're happy to just keep buying off of Amazon. So what, do you feel the same way? Do you really think regulation will come so fast that you're going to go from where you are today to $1 billion in 5 years because all of us out here in the audience are going to be forced to convert to do something else?
So my belief is that regulation is going to help us, but I don't think we are depending on regulation to do that for us. Our core message is really owning your data, understanding it better, and then opting in to monetize it if you want to. So we really believe if people could monetize their data, that's going to be the driving force for people to come to a platform. And the way we're growing now is we're using a one-to-many approach. Our sellers are the ones who love this the most. They really want to be able to connect with users. So they're basically sending insert cards, explaining our product when they send an Amazon shipment out. And then that's bringing users over to us and starting this one-to-one communication. So I think we have a lot of growth we can do without worrying anything with regulation. But that is a major trend, and it's a change that's going to help us and accelerate what we're doing.
Are you in compliance with Amazon terms of service on this? Because there's strict compliance in terms of outreach by brands to customers, paying for reviews, all those sorts of things. And what's the ultimate potential shutoff risk?
I love that question. So we have the lawyer who is most cited in Amazon antitrust regulation working with us. He's the champ for Amazon sellers fighting for their rights. And he's looked at this and he's like, the way we're operating this currently is completely fine. Can Amazon still try to do something? Of course they can, and they're known for doing that. The way that we're logging in is literally as you. So as long as Amazon needs to allow users to download their order history, this system will have to work. We may have to change how we're doing it, but we're always going to be able to retrieve that data. Plus, our roadmap calls for other transactions, so looking at Best Buy, Walmart, credit card transactions, then adding things like social media. We can even have support for sharing your location if you wanted to monetize that at certain points. So some of that tech is already built. So we have ideas. We're just launching in Amazon because that seems to be the best space for us to be right now.
When you guys log into Amazon as me, Amazon though can see where that IP is. Are they blocking? Can they block you based on your IP?
So they can't because it's actually your IP. So you're the one who's logging in. So imagine when our app launches, we're launching a browser in the background as you, logging in and going in and quickly scraping all of your orders. And then we're downloading also the order history, cross-referencing those, and creating your order profile through that. Don't tell Amazon, please. Thank you. Thanks so much. Thank you, eMerge. This is awesome.
Incredible. Well, everyone, thank you for joining us. We have a small panel here that's going to be 10 minutes in between our final segment of showcase companies. at 1:30, well, probably 1:40 or so, come back because we have our top 10 later stage companies pitching up until 3:15 or so. So we welcome you back. Please find your way here and bring some friends, okay? Thank you.